You smell that? That's the remaster smell. And it means it's time for a can you video for Oblivion. Now, normally I would do these with sliders maxed out to show you anything as possible with a little stealth and wall cheesing, but with it being a fresh remaster, I'm going to keep it at default. Quest this time is simple. Number 1, must be a thief character. I opt in for a dark elf because it's my video and I can. Number 2, only stolen items can be used in combat, healing, and questing, so no funny stuff, no shops for this one unless I'm robbing them blind. Number 3, no quest rewards unless you can steal them back. Now, there's going to be caveats to this. Obviously, you can't steal a Daedric artifact for the main quest, so we're going to have to let that slide. Number 4, and this is the final twist that sucks, you can't fast travel. I know what you're saying, Mr. Yoko. How is this going to work? How are you going to talk to people? So, pop the champagne for the caviar and caveats. Here we go. I'm going to allow myself acrobatics. 1, because I need to interact with the NPCs. You can't talk to them otherwise. And 2, because the Gerald Mountains absolutely suck, and sometimes you just need to away from trolls. Other exceptions are stealing mortal and pestle and ingredients to make a potion. The potion itself isn't stolen, but I think that counts, right? I mean, if I steal everything that make it, so be it. The last one, and I think this is the final one, is if I steal an arrow, I use the arrow, and then I pick them up from the body, the arrow then becomes not stolen, and I get that breaks the challenge logic, but it's not really in the lifeblood of this challenge. Sound good? Sound like a good video? All right, let's get in. Tutorial mode. Right after being left at the gate and the wall breaks, you must enter a door that you can't steal your way through, so challenge dies here. End of video. Like and subscribe. I'll see you next time. Moving on, because of this, I hardly follow the challenge. Nothing crazy happens, and if you know the story, then you know it. And if you don't, then we'll know it for you. There's a lot of videos out there. Class run. Let's do the breakdown. I'm a dark elf. I go with the thief sign, because of course, but the thief sign actually comes with agility and speed being kings, and athletics, which I realize after doesn't really matter since we aren't going to be running up at all. I go with blade, block, hand-to-hand, light armor, security, and sneak. Simple enough, right? It's everything a thief wants. Why not marksman? Because that's the default that calls to every vet Oblivion player, and I held off as long as I could. Let's just leave it at that. Fast forward, after giving the Emperor some love,
Leave the Emperor in peace.
we use Baris's key to exit the sewer. I did try to steal that. That never went great. So outside of that, outside. This is my first playthrough of the remaster, and it is so stunning. I can't get over it. But you can't get too distracted. We're naked and we need stuff. So we start sneaking our way to the Imperial City, and I find out very quickly there is a huge deacceleration of speed when hiking up steep hills. This was not in the original, and that's where acrobatics is occasionally going to come into play to help speed this up. By the way, all you see is edits, but I'm doing this with my own real-life time, and I'm getting older by the second. Finding the Imperial City after our calves are just pulsating from the ride, the first stop is the Gilded Carafe. Now we need potions and free stuff. We try to lock break our way in, and remember, lock breaking sucks now because if it breaks, we can't buy them later. We have to steal them. We load up here and head to our next stop, Edgar's, which I thought would have some good spells. Turns out nothing really there. We bolt over to the Fighting Chance. They have a good array of weapons that we'll need. Bows, daggers, swords. No arrows though. So we try to go upstairs. Totally forgot about the guard dog. We'll have to leave him for later. Heading next is to clothe ourselves because the elements are insane out here, and we go to the best defense. We're already here down to 3 lockpicks, and I'm just praying for a random repair hammer in the crates because, again, remember, we're going to be dropping gear like crazy if we can't repair what we have, and we can't pay anyone to do it for us. If you're good at this little mini game, it doesn't really matter what level the lock is. We find some gear, and more importantly, some wine. This will actually be the cornerstone of healing for us, wine. And mutton. This is what the hero of Kvatch lived off of as a vagabond for the rest of his life. With some basic gear, we start on our way to Joffrey. I thought stealing a horse is a part of this, but I also thought that maybe it kind of breaks out the sneak and kind of bypasses fast traveling, so it's going to be a long walk from here. To be fair, it's going to be a long walk to everywhere. I won't make you watch, but know the sound of the music of this environment is absolutely amazing, and to inch around it takes me about from sunrise to get to the other side, and it takes some great photos. Oh yeah, didn't want to swim across the water because, yeah, no sneak, so no swimming in this one. During our sneaky travels, we passed Fort Ash, and waiting on the other side of it was a kitty. Now, he hits harder than I remember, but he goes down easy all the same, and we press on. We link up with Joffrey and stare into his eyes as we fast forward through his dialogue, and then bunk down for level 2. I'm thinking speed or agility for this playthrough. I think having that maxed out will really help. Speed for, well, speed. And agility because it'll give us more damage with daggers, and since we're a thief, I think that should kind of be our main weapon, at least for now. We raid the place for a little bit more wine, and then we head off for Kvatch. Kill a couple wildlife on the way there, nothing big. Kill a broke bandit. And then, well, we finally make it to Kvatch. I tell Sal I'll help him out and head into the gate, and Man, I gotta stop. This thing looks pretty cool. We head on in, and there's only scamps, and I think Major Daedric Churl should be here at level 2, so it's light work. I tell Mr. L or Leland I don't need him, and he vanishes, and I take one more second to really look at this place before I press on. Now, none of the scamps really pose a problem throughout here. I take a second to fix the gear with the one repair hammer we have, and, well, gameplay. We head on in at the Churls. They hit way harder than I remember. Already low on supplies, but in the end they fall, and I don't. I get shot with a couple arrows, and I decide to drop them, because if I didn't steal them, I shouldn't use them, but 6 hours later into this challenge, I changed my mind. I tried stealing the key off the Sigil Keeper a couple times, and it never worked. It was all failure. So around the second time, I decided to do a pickpocket of the Daedra, and for some reason, it either disappears or it doesn't say that the item I've stolen in my inventory is stolen. So I decide against using the stuff. I get the Sigil Stone, I check out what it could be, and drop it anyway, because I don't count this as stolen. We slither back to Sav and head in to find Martin. Check out to see if our buddy from Morrowind is here. Yes, he is. Nice touch. Now, if you're saying to yourself, wow, Yoko, you're doing this really fast, that's because I've got 9 more paragraphs to go through, and they're long, lengthy paragraphs. So, we look down on Martin in shame, and we tell him to come with us, and then we tell Sal that we're ready to go, and we get on a move. I don't know why I did this, because there's really no reason, but I thought maybe the additional experience could help. We enter through the passage and find so many more scamps than I remember. Sav also gets stuck outside. I don't know if this is a glitch. He at least in the old one, he used to come inside. Now he's going outside. So, I take the rest of the Scooby Gang with me to find the Count. We dispatch the baddies, find the Count, bunk down in a warm bed to hit level 4. Oh yeah, we hit level 3 at the chapel where Martin was, so, whatever. Sav gives us the light armor off his back, and I drop it because, well, we can't use it. I head back with Martin to find Joffrey, and this takes so long. However, to Martin's credit, anyone we ran him up against, he really puts down with ease. And as a time frame, this took about 12 minutes to sneak into Iron Priory. Joffrey does absolutely nothing, which explains why the amulet gets stolen. The most important object in the entire world, and we have it behind a false door and a basic chest. So I bed down and I think about the insolent fools that I now must save, and I hit level 5. We set off to Cloud Ruler Temple, a secret order that guards the Emperor, and I believe it was founded by Snake people. Forget the real name. You'll have to quote me on that down below. And the base is supposed to be secret and hidden, but it really doesn't seem so hidden to me. If you're wondering how long this all took me, I'll tell you this took me about 19 ear life minutes IRL from exiting the Priory to meeting Barius at the gates. And there's nothing too much to note on the way, except that their pathing in this game is absolutely dreadful. In the Remastered, they will get hung up on the smallest things with no recourse, and you have to go get them. Oh yeah, and this bandit got absolutely beat by someone, and it wasn't us. So we make it to the Cloud Ruler Temple, and after delivering Martin to the Illuminati, we hear his speech and then begin speaking with Joffrey. He tells us to head back to the Imperial City, and so that's what we do. We could have stolen a few things from the Blades, but I didn't think about that until later, and getting out of the Snowy Mountains really seemed like a better idea to me. Fight a few imps on the way, we discover a chameleon rat, which was nice, then I make my way back into town. I duck straight into the barracks of the Imperial Guard. I find a few things like venison that can heal, but I really still no arrows and nothing else of note. Upon looting, I pick up gold every time. I don't know why. I can't spend it. Just an impulse. I do get a repair hammer or two, and so that's nice. I do break into the warehouse, and this is where things gets a little shaky. We get caught on our way out trying to pickpocket, so, well, we lose all of our stuff, and we start from zero, all back over again. Luckily, we kept a lockpick or two, and I re-up all the shops like before, grabbing stuff from the Fighting Chance, lockpicks from, is it Genesee? I forget her name, and a repair hammer from her. One by one, we're hitting up all the shops just like the Grinch on Christmas night and get everything we need. A helmet, a sweet weapon, a shiny amulet, and some decent clothes. There's no real armor, but I mean, damn, we look pretty good. Now we're kind of geared, and with a little bit of gear, I decided we should proceed with the main quest, and we have to meet up with Barius in the tavern. He tells me that a guy is following him, and we have to follow a guy that's following him. It's kind of like that song where the air is in the night or whatever. So I kill the guy first and realize, oh yeah, I could probably pickpocket him. So I reload, pickpocket the book, then kill him. And Barius tells us we need to go over to Tarmina over at the Arcane University. She's supposed to know everything about Daedric cults and the Mythic Dawn. So I drag my butt over there and see what she has to say. She tells us that Phineas at the first edition may have a third copy and may help us in our quest. So I shoot over there. He tells us that someone is coming to buy it. I think you can buy it from him, but we can't do that. I think you can steal it from the chest, but he was watching us pretty hard. So we wait for the little man to arrive. We confront him on it, and eventually, after telling them that the Emperor killed, well, the Mythic Dawn was killed. Words are hard. The Mythic Dawn is responsible for killing the Emperor. He hands over it and tells us that a fourth copy and the final copy can only be obtained from a sponsor of someone who's already in the Mythic Dawn, but he had a meeting set up in the sewers. Now, I hate the sewers. Upon leaving, I guess Phineas ratted me out and we get stopped straight up and hauled off to jail. Barius is a good spirit, though. He waits for us outside as we serve our sentence, and thinking about it, I said, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to steal my stolen gear back. Also, a very easy lock on an evidence chest, something that's responsible for convicting people, makes you wonder what else is going on. Barius and I breeze through the sewers, but when I mean Barius and I mean really just him, and we make our way to the meeting. I let him go in, and I go high, and, well, it could have gone better, but we did win. You can just see the stench of death emanating off of him. I take a nap down in the treacherous bed for all the traitors, and I hit level 7. Speed is almost maxed out now, and I can't say I notice a difference in the sneak speed, but I tell myself that I do, and that's good enough. We take a bath in the sewer water, and then we move on to Amantius Alessius' basement? I don't know how to say these words. We take a few things and exit back to the top to Tarmina. We're supposed to wait for her to decipher the books, but I've played this game about 1 billion times, so I just wait at the Green Emperor Way for the red glowy map to do this little thing. Fun fact about this place, I don't think we know anything about this tomb. He might have been an elf based off the name, but who knows? If you know more than me, comment down below. I mean, I don't know anything about it. Now, if you're asking what does this red glowy... So we head off for the cave of the Mythic Dawn, and I run into Shady Sam. Now, a normal playthrough, this man is a great asset to have. And I thought he would have some great stuff to steal. It turns out, nope. Just some crazy attacks, and this was a very close call. Funny note, his clothes are the only clothes I know of that have absolutely no weight other than his boots. I walk my thick elf butt all the way to the cave. We meet Harrow, our guide, and since this isn't my first rodeo, I drop everything that's essential to me first and give the rest to Harrow, because he collects everything in your inventory and throws you the Mythic Dawn robe. After receiving the robe, I pick up my stuff off the ground, we mosey over to the resting area, and I hit level 8. I'm starting to get more into strength just to carry a little bit more thing. Oh, and we finally max out speed. Level 8. I can't really tell if I know a difference or not. We get right up and close to Mankar, and I watch him head straight into paradise. We take the Dagger of Sacrifice, and we lure Harrow away so that we can get rid of him first. And then a guard. Acting like nothing happened, we release the prisoner and take out the others. I want to say it is a tough fight. It was a very tough fight, but we did pull through. Barely. Now, the next part is where I realized the AI in the remaster is a little different in here. The detection range must be like super high because immediately after killing 1 or 2 people, everyone starts running. I mean, they just kept coming out of the woodworks. I tried several times to save the Argonian, but I just couldn't get it to work. So I eventually just killed all of them and finally made my way out of the cave. I know I've not mentioned it, but I've only crashed about 5 or 6 times this whole time. So, not so bad. Upon our freedom from the cave, which actually felt like an eternity, oh man, this sucks. We died to a wolf after some fall damage, and finally, 12 minutes later, Joffrey has his mushroom right on our foreheads. We watch the blades for a second for a blade boost, and this is where I realize, I don't know what happened, but we're not a blade. We can't sleep in their beds, and everything is considered stolen loot, which I don't remember in the OG version. Maybe I did something that caused this. Maybe this is just the game now. I don't really know, but for this particular challenge, it works in our favor. So, realizing this, we head into Martin's room to grab some potions and head over to the armory to snag a repair hammer and some arrows, a sword or 2, and some armor. We are now the Pinnacle Thief. We are stealing from those we are swearing to help save the world. Priceless. Now, I know I didn't say this, but we're actually supposed to be heading downtown into the town below us to Bruma to actually wipe out some spies. We decided to jump off the big wall and eat it, so that didn't work. So we reload. I use some repair hammers to try to get up some of our goodies back to 100%, and I realized this may be the first and only time that everything in our inventory is 100%. We make our way down to Bruma to find the spies, and since I know where the house is, I just break right in. I slip in and steal the key. I slip into the basement like a shadow, and I find a note and a door that leads to the caverns where the Mythic Dawn is. It actually just leads to the cave that we were just at. So I head back upstairs, I clean house, and they put up a fight. A good fight, however, through wine, anything is possible. Now with the final one down, we peek into a few more houses, and I don't really find anything crazy, So I work my way back up to Joffrey and tell him that the dirty deed he's requested is done. We talk to Martin. He tells us about needing to retrieve a Daedric artifact for him, and this is not the easiest quest, but it's close and I didn't feel like walking, so Azura's Shrine it was. In hindsight, I probably should have picked a different Daedric quest line, but I just kind of stuck to what's normal on this. Through our travels, we make it through an abandoned camp where bandits are, and we abandon the bandits so we can lie down, and I hit level 9. We focus on agility to get that back up to par, and I just want to even things out now. And we start making our way over to Azura's Shrine. I realize there is no glow dust on the floor, and killing these things are going to suck. I try leveling or 1v1ing one myself, and I die. So I reload, I walk my fat all over there again, and this time I try to get Mel to help. He doesn't do so well, so I run and run for help. And I want to say now the aggro in this game is crazy, like super crazy. I run all the way to Lord Dumdrug's estates, and he is no help. I wait for Mel. He absolutely goes down, so I decide to desert and go to Shadenhall. And I die. There's another thing I want to talk about here, and I won't rant too much in this video, but I don't like that in the OG version, let's say, I don't know if it's due to processing power or what, but if an enemy was behind you and there was space, that amount of space of time took them to load onto the other side of the door when entering a place. Now it seems like they load almost before you and wait for you. It's a minor detail, but it sucks. And we die. I reload, and this time the guard takes it out so fast. 2 arrows and maybe 4 swings. I mean, you gotta love it. We scoop up the goop, mosey back to the shrine. Well, not before exploring the city. I mean, all things considered, we didn't find much, and we crashed. So, after reloading, we grab the goop again and just head straight for the shrine. And we wait until dusk so that we can offer up the glow dust and begin seeking an audience with Azura. Azura, for all things considered, seems like a pretty playful one, and she tells us that her followers got trapped in the gutted mine after contracting the vamp disease, and we need to kill them to relieve them of such affliction. It's kind of tragic. We make our way over to the mine, and we learn right away that these boys are not playing around. So I start trying to exit the cave. I remember once before there was a rock I used to play. I mean, it was in my last video. But the landscapes aren't as crude in this one. But I know a dev rock when I see one. And that's where I go. So I go there. I use my advantage to one by one lure the vamps out and knock them down. Now, I can't take all the credit. The scamps and the clan fears around me actually helped me out a bit. And the last one falling to the strum of an arrow. Priceless. The hit markers in this game rivals Call of Duty 4's hit markers. It hits and it just massages a part of my brain that I didn't even know I needed. After vanquishing all the vamps, I go back to Azura to get our reward, and then I start making our way back to the camp where the dead bandits were before so we can level up. And we hit sweet level 10. Now on our way back to Cloud Ruler Temple, we get chased by a troll and I start freaking out. This thing chases me all the way back to Bruma, and I am terrified because the OG trolls used to be a beast. So we duck into the Bruma city, and upon entering, it lost its aggression. I don't know if they just can't enter the cities. So we head back outside, one quick sneak attack, and save a horse. Boom. It's kind of cool. We then head back to Cloud Ruler Temple, and I will say I think maybe we are faster with sneak now that I look at it. I'm still not for sure. We speak to Barius. He gives us some tricks and teaches us some blade moves. Now we're journeyman in blade. Big props to him. We speak to Martin to give him the Azura Star, and then we speak to Joffrey. He tells us that Bruma is in trouble, and he wants us to get down there to help Captain Bird. But I hit a detour. I start searching the local houses. I'm looking for repair hammers or lockpicks, and we start with Olaf's house. It's kind of stinky, but we do find one lockpick. We then break into Istrosu's. I don't even know how to say her name. I'm not even going to lie. But what I will say is we got lucky, as they must have just been going to bed, and they don't see us standing there in the doorway. I'm down to one lockpick now, so everything is a chance. We enter the basement. We find a fur shield, but other than that, nothing good. We then hit Helvius Celius's house over at the other one. We find some food like for fatigue, but nothing really good. And then the last house. I'm not even going to... Jagastis? I don't know. I don't know these people. But she was nice. We found mutton, venison, and a ton of wine for healing. We also found a repair hammer and some leather gear, which is nice. It was extra to have some supplies on hand. Now that I feel kind of supplied up and geared up, I think we'll meet Captain Bird. After speaking with Bird and about to head into the Oblivion Gate, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I let Bird and the crew do absolutely everything. And at the end, we get the Sigil Stone, I drop it off, and once again, Bird looks like an absolute stud standing next to it as it blows up. Now, at this point, we've been sneaking for about 90% of the time and jumping the rest, and my sneak level is only 64, with nothing else really being moved since the base. We head back to Martin, and he tells us we need the armor of Tiber Septim. Now, I talked to Joffrey, and he also gives us a quest for the Baruma hold off and attack later type stuff, but we don't really need to do it, so I set off for Sanctator. If you want the unedited full-length sneak video, let me know and I'll upload it, but I think we have a trust now at this point in the video, and I can skip some of this, eh? Oh, so we finally get to Sanctator, which actually means Golden Hill, I think. I could be wrong, let me know. Ooh, Golden Hill Sanctator, what can I say about it? Well, the skeletons. Can't take it conventionally. They are brutal, but you know what they can't take? Stealth arching. That's right. I love that sound. After killing a couple of them, I enter in and I remember, oh yeah, ghost. Huh. Now, it's too low of a level for it to be wraiths, which is good. That's something we won't see in this video, but they are still ghost. So, I equip a durable silver dagger. I equip a durable silver dagger and carry on. I gotta be honest, they're actually pretty easy. So, we have to get this piece of Tiber Septim armor, but it's hidden behind a curse. That's kind of the long and the short of it. There are four blade members, that kind of got skeletonified by an evil lich, and they can only dispel this curse. And the only way to get all that working is we have to kill them to release their ghost spirit so that they can dispel the enchantment and let us pass to get the armor. God, that's so much. It's kind of simple though. 1, 2, hit level 11, maxed out agility, and now getting some endurance for health catch up. 3, almost didn't make it, and number 4 was probably the easiest of all. We grab the armor. We have a 1v1 with a skelly. I keep the arrows that are shot into me. I told you I was going to do this. We slice down another kitty. I take out the skeletons have been following me menacingly. The AI in this game is cracked. And we finally make our way back to Martin. We hand over the armor to Martin, and he tells us we need to travel to Mistgran to get a Great Welkin Stone. There's a lot of fetching going around here, so I hope this man's right. I don't have a meaning for this place's name, but something I can tell you is that there were going to be a lot of bitterfish goblins fighting zombies and skeletons. And it's one heck of a time. I head to Bleeker's Way to lay down for a nap, and I hit up Arvin. Now, he doesn't mind me stealing and laying down here, so he seems nice. We'll take his keys and his wine for later. I hit level 12, and now the world is going to get crazy. We start heading towards the Imperial City, and I get ambushed by a bear. It's a close call, but, we survive. We then take out a marauder and his dog, and I head into the Imperial City with 1 lockpick and a dream. We finally get a couple more lockpicks, a repair hammer, and after exiting this, continue our journey to take 1 look at the guard and realize he probably needs this more than us. We walk our swag right into another bear, a West-Weld Black Bear Den Hunter? Dang, that's the name. We take out a couple more of them and head into the ruins to find the Great Welkin Stone. It's pretty easy, except for this battle with the skeleton hero that almost knocks us out. Kind of same with a zombie guardian. A couple kills later, and we finally reach the stone. Knocking out the king of this place in 4 arrows was not on my list, but it worked. We take out the guardian zombies as well, and then we make our way back outside. Back in my travels, I do stumble into the Hackdrift village. I might do a video on this place later, but for the short of it, we find a repair hammer and keep it moving. I also head into the Odil farm, and again, we find a repair hammer, and I load up all the gear as high as I can and continue until we run into a troll. Now, we are facing a troll face to face, and I am terrified. There's nowhere to go. But with a shield in hand, he actually goes down surprisingly easy. A quick look into our stats, by the way, we're only at level 75. After the back and forth, we finally make it to Martin, and we overhear Joffrey is advising against something, but we don't really know what that is yet. That something turns out to be letting a great gate open to get a sigil stone, a great sigil stone to complete the portal to Alagata or Mankar's Paradise to get that amulet back. The short of it is Martin wants us to go down to kind of convince the Countess to let that happen. So we head down to the Great Chapel of Talos to meet the Countess. I tell her to get her Malurshur, and let's go. I sneak my way to where her Malurshur is waiting, and 1 gate is already sprung open. We decide to wait for Martin to give a great speech, and now we have to defend Martin until the Great Gate arrives for us to head back inside of it. I'm not gonna lie, I die a time or two, I'll admit it. Trying to help Martin at this scale just seems to have its drawbacks, but eventually, after enough Flame Archer BBL stabbing, a Great Gate opens, and I throw myself right into this Disney theme park of fire. This gate is a time gate, and we have to get the Great Sigil Stone before I think it's a siege engine? Yeah, that's right. I can't remember. Before that thing breaks open and sieges the city outside, so we cheese. I'm so happy they kept this in here. We climb the cliffs and make it into the Worldbreaker Tower. I get beat on and I have to try again. I'm going to say it right now. The Sigil Keeper, a harder fight than I thought. But he goes down. I get some more stabby on. We break into the Sigil Keep. I grab the stone, take note of the dead. Also, there was a Sigil Stone in the Siege engine that falls out when it's completed, so if you can use that, pick it up. Martin yoinks our hard work and says, see me back at Cloud Ruler Temple, and I head there. This man has a robe on with a helmet. He opens the portal to Paradise, which, well, I gotta be honest, it's much grander this time around for sure, but I don't know if I like that animation more. I do not remember Frost Atronach? Why can I never remember these? It's been a long day. Anyway, I can't remember them being in this. I remember the Storm Acronox. God, I can't say it. Anyway, I can't remember them being there either way. I stab a baddie, I dismantle a scamp, and, well, unfortunately, we crashed right here. So, upon reloading, I forgot to hit record, and at this point, it was too much to redo, so I pressed on. All I had to really do was kill Kitty, who had the bands of whatever on that we needed to get into the grotto. It was what it is. We have a close call with a Daedroth. We push some prisoners in. Don't mind the arrows. And then we run to Eldamil. Because this radial AI detection is so off the charts, it's a good thing after I had to talk to him first, and then everyone in that first area leaves me alone. They almost always aggroed me before I could even do anything, so it was crazy. Eldamil throws me in a cage. I kill some baddies. Eldamil takes an arrow to the back of the head. His fault, not mine. And then we head outside to find Cameron's children. Now, I tried what I did in the last video by killing them outside and then heading inside, but it didn't work. This actually turned out to be one of the hardest parts, if not the hardest part of the whole series. But after several attempts, and I do mean several, we got him. He's an evasive little elf. He always just kept running away. After this, we pop right back out to see the blades were ready to murder us, and Martin is now wearing his Emperor's clothes. We hand him the amulet, and he tells us to seek an audience with the High Chancellor in the Imperial City to relight the dragon fires. But we make it there smoothly enough, except entering the city, we get smacked with a $2,000 bounty. Or 2,000 septum bounty, rather, I guess. I'm not 1,000% sure what really happened. I'm going to be honest. I don't know what it was. Maybe the guard recognized me for stealing from him earlier. I don't know. But whatever, we got to go to jail. And I thought, breaking out and completing the quest, like, that'd be 100% of a thief, right? Like, that'd be, like, so cool. We broke out. We completed. Nope, none of that happens. The game just simply would not allow that. Even Martin and the High Chancellor join in to try to kill me. And I catch lightning to the face. I hate lightning. So, I decide to do the noble thing. All right, let's try to sleep, serve my time, and the game says no one crashes. So, I try again, I serve my time, and upon stealing the stuff from the evidence chest, Joffrey and Martin rat me out. Like, what's going on, man? So, I reload again, I tell them to wait outside, I steal my stuff, and we finally get to the Chancellor. Upon talking to him, we are immediately told the gates are opening up everywhere, and Martin tells us to get to the Temple of the One, and so we begin the ending quest. We get the guards to come with us after a little skirmish, and I deadbolt to the temple, but Mehrunes Dagon, he wasn't going to let that happen, and he squishes me. So, I try again, and this time we make it. Martin tells me he has an idea. It's simply too late to light the dragon fires at this point, I guess. And he says he cannot stay to rebuild Tamriel, but he knows what he must do. He knows what he must do? What does it smell like? Anyway, he shatters the amulet to combine his blood with Akatosh's from the amulet. I believe that's from Akatosh's heart, if I'm not mistaken. He takes the form of Akatosh's avatar, which is a dragon, and he defeats Mehrunes Dagon. Now, I like this fight over the OG one, I'm going to be honest here. But here's the problem. Akato rushes in and the game soft locks. I try this 3-4 more times and it completely soft locks. So, did we complete the quest? Can you beat the quest? Can you beat the main game only using stolen items? I guess not.